Cozy. What makes something feel cozy? Is it the warmth of a fire on a cold day? Ooh. Is it the shelter that's protecting you from the rain outside? Ugh. Or is it the wind blowing against your tent while you're safe and sound inside? I'm sure you already realized at this point that it's all of those things, even more so when they're combined together. And since Christmas is around the corner, I thought that I would try to recreate that cozy feeling that often comes along with Christmas Day by traveling around the Tears of the Kingdom map, searching for places that fit this cozy vibe. I do have one important rule before I start. I have to rate each location based on how I naturally find them. I cannot alter them, I cannot set my own fires up, I cannot move anything in the area. It needs to be completely authentic. Alright, editing Elad here. I also added a thing where I'm allowed to kill enemies as long as it doesn't break or mess with any of the stuff in the area. Alright, so the first place that I found is just outside of the west side of Castletown. It's this nice little blossoming tree. Now this tree looks really nice. There's a small amount of shelter that comes from the leaves and the branches above. There are some rocks at the side that would help prevent the wind from just blowing straight into you. And there's also this lovely lady that sat by the tree that is hoping that her one true love will come and find her. What I really like about this spot, you've got like the pink petals from the blossoming tree that have fallen down onto the floor. You've got the warm toned light from the lantern that's placed next to her, which will also be providing her with a little bit of warmth as well. And obviously, just being sat there with somebody else makes it feel a lot more cozy than it would have been if you were just there on your own. The only thing particularly about this spot that I don't like is you don't really get much shelter. The wind can still affect you even with the rocks that are there. And the floor, it's going to be cold and maybe even wet if it's just rained. So I'd probably give this 1.5 stars. It starts off the list well. Now, the second place that we're going to visit are these snowy ruins that I found on the western side of the Great Sky Island. One thing that already stands out to me here is the snowy vibe of the whole place. As well as in the center of this little ruin, there is a little fire that you can, warm your hands up. Now, one of the first things that I noticed about this place is it's got a decent amount of shelter from the wind. There are still doorways that make it so that the wind can still just blow straight through, but being able to sit perhaps in one of the corners, or maybe you could like go and sandwich yourself in between the wooden crates or something. Having the fire be a cooking pot means that when you come to this place, you can sit there and make whatever food you need to be able to carry on with your travels. My only real issues with this place is it's made entirely out of stone, so there's not really any escape from the cold unless you're sat right next to the fire, which then will just put you right in the path of the wind, which means that you're likely going to be cold no matter what you do. This place would feel pretty miserable the second it starts snowing, so for that reason, I feel pretty comfortable giving this place a 1.8. Being able to cook yourself a hot meal definitely bumps it up slightly from the previous place. The next spot that I found is this camp near some pine trees in the Heber region. Now, this spot is pretty nice. It's got a decent roof to it, it can shelter multiple people at once, and it would do a pretty good job at keeping you out of the rain for quite a while. The fire being here as well, which means you are protected from the rain and also it will keep you warm. So that immediately bumps this place up higher. And while it is more open, I do like how you've got these large boulders behind you that are protecting you from the wind. The second the wind blows straight at you, it will feel very cold very quickly. And one thing that my girlfriend pointed out here is there are bones on the floor. If you're going traveling and you want to find a cozy place, I think the last thing that you think would be cozy would be dead things on the floor. For that reason, I'm going to give this place 2 stars. It having an actual roof really makes a difference here, because it means that you actually have some proper protection from the rain, and having the fire as well really ups the cozy factor. This next place that I found is this pit, which I found whilst wandering along a path in the Heber region. At first glance, this place doesn't look that special, but it's got walls around all sides, which that immediately makes things a lot better. There is a little bit of shelter from above that is going to keep you protected from the rain, A fire that is lit within the middle, which already makes it feel a lot cozier. Just having that warmth from a fire definitely adds so much to it. There's also just this lovely gentleman just playing some music for you by the fire. So sitting here just has such a nice vibe to it. As well as there being some stuff down here with you, like the horse and carriage and some of the random Zonai parts, it helps fill up the space a little bit and makes it feel a lot less open. This is a really good spot, and it will keep you very well protected. The downside of this area, though, is it's all stone with a little bit of moss, which means that it's going to feel quite cold down there. As well as if it rains too much, you're literally just in a hole, which means it could start to fill up with water and it could put out the fire and ruin your day. Not the best place to stay there for a long time, but with the right weather, it's very cozy in there. I'm going to give this one a 2.3. The music, the fire, the shelter from the rain, and the walled off area bump this up higher than the rest of the stuff on the list so far. Alright, so here we have a campsite that exists within the center of Castletown. The vibes here are instantly cozy. There's lots of tents together, which makes it feel like a community. All the tents are nice and big, but not too big. It feels like there's just enough space for you and your stuff. My personal favorite tent is this one here. It's got a cooking pot right in front of it, which if it was lit, it would be really, really cozy. I think that this would be by far the best tent out of them all, because you'd be able to just cook up a meal right in front of your tent and then just leave the fire going as you sleep throughout the night. And because you're in a tent, you have really good protection from the rain. It's got decent protection from the wind, though the front is a little bit more open than I would like it to be. You've got this lovely warm-toned lantern that's hanging from the ceiling above you, which really gives it this like homely feel. Not only that, even though the front is a little bit too open, being able to just see the world in front of you does help a lot at making it feel cozy. Another thing I noticed here is on the floor, we have wood, and then we have a little rug on top of it as well, which is much better than the previous places because that's going to keep you a lot warmer since you're not sat directly on the cold surface of the ground. Believe me, if you've ever been camping before, you know how much of a difference not being sat on the ground makes. Anyway, the rating that I give this place is a 3.2 stars. It's really nice here. It's a lot better than the things that we've seen so far, and I really like the community feel of it. While I was wandering around the area of Hyrule Castle, I did find this area that existed within the dungeons of the castle. This is actually the first place that we've found that is completely closed off. There is zero way that any rain, wind, or anything like that can get to you. You're completely on your own. It's got like a nice arched doorway. Having a fire in the center of the room as well will make the room feel a lot warmer than a lot of places that we've seen so far, which will definitely add to that cozy feeling. I don't like how the room is like completely stone on the walls, the ceiling, and the floor, but because there's no way for wind and things to get in, I'm pretty sure the room will still do a good job at heating up, so it should be okay. But one thing that I have noticed though is something that makes me feel a lot cozier is being able to actually see the outside world. For example, when it's raining outside and you can see the rain but you're completely sheltered from it. I don't know, to me that's comforting. With this one, I'm going to give it a 3.4. It's making me think that maybe I should swap this with the previous one, because the tent is just slightly nicer than this. So yeah, I'm going to swap those around. We're going to have a 3.4 for the tent, and then this one, the stone room, is going to be a 3.2 instead. So it's going to go lower on the list. Speaking of tents, there is actually one more tent here that is different from the rest of them, and that is this circular tent that exists away from the rest of them. This tent in particular, I really like its circular shape and the fact that it's got a much smaller crack in the front of the tent, as well as having a fire right outside of the front of it. That makes this place feel a lot more cozy straight away, which I really like that. I do have a couple of gripes with it, things that I don't really like, and that is there's far too much of the floor that's exposed. It makes you feel like things like rain could just seep underneath the tent and like get to you. But I do like the fact that there is a wooden panel that you can sit on with a rug, same as the other one, with a bunch of stuff behind you, which does help make it feel more cozy. The only other issue that I have with it is just that the space is not filled very well. It just feels quite open, but it would feel really cozy if there was maybe a bed or like a sleeping bag on another section of wood or something. I think that that would help a lot. So this specific tent, I'm going to give it a 3.7. It's definitely a nice step up from the previous stuff, but it isn't doing anything crazily different. I just like the vibe, as well as it just feels warmer in here. We've definitely had our fair share of tents so far, but we are not done yet. This is the last tent on the list, and it is another one that I found that is somewhat near Castletown. This spot is great. I love it. I really like the view that you get from being sat on top of a little bit of a hill. It's a very enclosed space, as well as it's completely packed full of stuff, which makes it feel more cozy. It's kind of like that safe feeling of being surrounded, you know, when you've got like a very cozy blanket on or something. It makes you feel safe, and that safe kind of equals cozy. It has a fire going right outside the front of it, which definitely will do a good job at keeping you warm. There is a little bit of an issue with wind again, like it's quite open at the front, so you could probably get quite a bit of wind coming in. But still, it feels like a very warm tent in particular. You'll have no real issues in here. It's a pretty good spot. I noticed as well that, again, this one has a wooden floor with a little bit of a rug on it, which really helps make it feel warmer. Also, when I switched it to nighttime, it started raining, and the view here is fantastic. I give it a 3.9. It's not miles better than the previous stuff, but I feel like it's just a little bit more polished, a little bit more flushed out than the previous stuff. I'm sure some of you that are big fans of Tears of the Kingdom will have noticed the Rito sleeping quarters. Now this one in particular is for the children, and it looks the most cozy out of what I've seen in the other rooms, because there is a lot of fabric here, there's some seriously nice shelter, and it's also just got a really Christmassy vibe. The snow that has piled up around looks really soft and powdery. It kind of just looks tasty, to be honest. Although don't eat any of the yellow snow. This place looks wonderful to sleep in. Like, imagine that feeling of being at a sleepover with a few friends, and you're all up late at night, laughing away. Imagine that was while it was snowing outside as well. That adds such a high level to things, as well as nearby there is a fire with a cooking pot on top of it, which is likely where the adults make the food for the children, which means that being in that room, you're likely going to get a cooked meal right before you go to sleep, which means you're going to go to bed feeling all nice and warm inside. You just get to snuggle up in your hammock. Love the vibe of this place, honestly. It's great. I would love to visit a place like this if it existed in real life. Definitely gets a high rating from me, a 4.2 for this one. We got a lot of spots that end up being near Hyrule Castle. This one specifically is at Lookout Landing. This place is wonderful. You head down into there and it's just a really warm vibe from the get-go. The place has got quite a lot of people in there. There's candles lit all over the place, lanterns. It's got a very warm tone to the whole place. As well as there's like tables and things set up down here. There's even a section over to one side where there is a bunch of beds that kind of look like a fort that you'd make in your bedroom as a kid or something. I love the look of this place. The specific spot that we're going to be choosing is this bed in the corner. It's got a lantern to the side, which gives it a really warm feel. There's some cloth underneath the bed, which means that every time you get out of the bed, you don't get cold feet, which that's a fantastic part of it. As well as this, it just feels really nice and homely here. Like, there's books for you to be able to read, which means you can snuggle up in the blanket, read your book with the lantern to the side of you. The only real thing that I have an issue with this one in particular, that it's a big stone room. That's the only real thing that makes it feel not cozy. This is definitely a kind of place that I would enjoy sleeping in, for sure. Absolutely love this. It kind of feels like when the power goes out and you're forced to use things like candles to light areas up in the house. Oh, and this place gets a 4.5 stars. Alright, so the final place on the list is this lodge in the Hebra Mountains. This is by far the best place that I found while exploring. I mean, just listen to my girlfriend and I's reaction when we found it. Our house. A cozy.
The coziest
Well,
thing of all.
there's these two bonfires outside which give you this warm, inviting feeling. And then when you enter the place, oh my god, it's so nice in here. It's all built out of wood, apart from this big stone fireplace right in the center. It's got a lantern hanging from the wooden beam, like giving off a little bit of warm light, which complements the fire nicely. There's this big rug in the center of the room. There's also two Rito people that are just chilling, making food together in the lodge, which kind of made me feel a little bit like when you're waiting for your parents to finish cooking food on Christmas Day. I really love how you could watch the snow outside as well. Genuinely, this place, I would live here if I could. Although I'm not a huge fan of snow. This place gets a 4.9 stars. The only real thing that I would improve about this place is I would put a door on it and then have windows at the front so that you can watch the snow from within the building and have none of the cold breeze coming in from the outside. But it's basically perfect here, and I love it. I do have one bonus location though, the subscribe button. Nothing is more cozy than sharing the same cozy feeling together. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.